Introducing super communication. This is the foundation of psycho marketing course. This isn't some secret hack or a shortcut to becoming a better communicator. You won't be able to control minds like some X-Men. But when it comes to communication, this is as close to magic as you can possibly come. And I'm talking about every kind of communication. If you are a salesperson, entrepreneur, marketer, teacher, parent, leader, or a creator, or if you're trying to be better at making friends, or if you want to build a better dating or social life, or if you want to be better at relationships, or if you just want yourself to be taken more seriously by other people. As I said, learning this won't make you Professor Rex from X Men, but if you take this and learn this seriously, this will definitely give you some kind of superpower when it comes to communication. Let's learn what it is and see the application of this. But first, I want to start with a very interesting question. Maybe this is a very basic question, and maybe this is a question that you would never have thought to ask yourself. What is communication? Why do we communicate? Let me know in the comments below what do you think. Okay. Now, when asked, most people usually reply that communication is what you say or what you write, the verbal or the textual communication. That is communication. People first tend to think about logical verbal communication, like saying that sun is the sun is 150 million kilometers away from Earth, or saying that force is equal to mass multiplied by acceleration, or saying that Ratan Tata is a billionaire. These are verbal propositions, which we call second hand or proposition language, because you don't know what it is to be like Ratan Tata. You don't know what it is to be like a billionaire. You don't understand what it means. Saying that light travels 3 lakh kilometer per second is a verbal proposition. You can say it and you can verbally know it, but you don't understand what does that mean. You don't understand the intensity of that. In the same way, saying that the sun is 150 million kilometers away from Earth is something that you can recognize and you can learn logically, verbally, but you don't understand what it actually means. And it doesn't change anything inside you. This information doesn't make you a better person. This information doesn't make you more effective. This is an information that you can simply write down in an exam and you can get some marks for it. Another example is a personal example. I was working for a company and the managing director and CEO told the HR to make sure that employees come on time. Apart from that, they also told that they should be in the office before 9:30 a.m. Our work was 9 to 6, but most people usually came around 9:45 or 10 and they worked till 7:30, which is technically that they are doing their entire shift. They are working the entire clock. They are completing the 8 or 9 hours of work. But they wanted the employees to complete work from 9 to 6, not from 10 to 7. To me, it is something inefficient because if the work is being done, then it's being done. Like, why do you care if it's starting at 9 or 10? It doesn't really make sense. So, we were all told that we should come in office before 9:30 a.m. Also, they should attend the morning workshops hosted by team leaders and senior engineers. Apart from this, they also gave us one last direction that we should be more social in the office and we should be talking more about ideas rather than just sadly sitting in our chairs and looking at the screen. So, the HR gathered us on a good Saturday morning and told us verbally that Sir was very angry. Everyone has to come on office from next week. Our team leaders are conducting workshops that are worth lakhs. You should be grateful you are getting all this for free. You should take advantage of these opportunities. She went on, blah, 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 blah. And I told myself and also her that, hey, this is not going to work. People will remember this for a day or two, but after that, they are going to continue with the same old habit. They are going to continue with the same old routine. because she doesn't understand the status quo bias, right? People want to be consistent with their old habits and the way things used to be. People don't like change, and you're telling them to change. What are you providing them? What incentive are you offering them for change? What is the reward if they change? Nothing. So I told her that, hey, this is not going to work. They will listen from one ear and remove from the other. This won't change behavior. I gave her some ideas to help change the behavior. After all, that was the goal of the entire meeting, right? The goal was to make sure that the employees come on time, they attend the morning lectures or the workshops given by senior engineers, and they should be more social and share ideas in the office with other people. This was the goal, to change behavior. She didn't listen to me, she didn't take it, and the problem continued for months. I'm pretty sure, even though I'm not working in that office, that the problem is still there. She doesn't understand it. She didn't understand communication very deeply. But you and I can. Now let's get to the important question again. The question that I asked you in the starting of the video. What is communication? And why do we communicate? Why do we need to do this thing called as communication? There are many reasons for communication, but when it comes to human dynamics, when it comes to human society, humans communicate primarily for three reasons. These are the majority of reasons why every human that has ever existed communicates to other human being. The first one and the most obvious one is to share and receive information about the world, about what's happening. For example, news, right? When you turn on your TV or when you go on the internet, you hear or see news that, hey, there was a riot in this part of the city, or hey, the prices are going up and everybody's going crazy, or hey, the stock of this company is falling down. All of this news, this is information about the world which is useful to us. Now I agree that in modern world right now, the way media and social media and everything is just manipulated and just is fucked up, news is not very helpful. This is why a lot of younger people are not taking it seriously, because it doesn't really provide any value to their life. So to share and receive information about the world is the first thing, the most obvious basic answer to the question, why do we communicate? We also do this to learn something. Like for example, teaching somebody that, hey, light travels at a speed of 300,000 kilometers per second, or light can reach from earth to moon in roughly around 1 second. All these things are facts that I'm telling you about the world. Okay, so learning something. Another reason is things like asking for directions or asking for other people's opinion. Like, hey, what phone do you think I should buy? Hey, how far is the railway station? Or hey, how, like, do we have any libraries in our area? So we communicate to know all these questions so that we can plan and act. This is the most obvious answer anybody can give. And this is self-understood. We don't need to dive very deeper into it. We need information about the world so that we can know how to behave, so that we know how to conduct ourselves, so we can regulate our own schedule, our own actions, our own plans for the future. This is very abstract, high level information about the world. For example, saying that, hey, you know what, learn good public speaking, because that is going to help you in all sorts of things. That is going to make you better at giving interviews, that is going to make you better at making friends, that is going to make you better at networking. Or if you decide at some point in life to be a little bit stupid like us and start making content, it will help you be a better content creator. So all of this is simply to share and receive information about the world. This is the first job of communication. The second job is to express feelings and emotions. Feelings and emotions are also a kind of information, but they are very complex forms of information. a feeling cannot be captured very well, right? For example, let's say you have been working your ass off, you have been living in a different city by your own self, and you have been trying to build your career, build your business, and it's been like almost a year that you have seen your family. So when you go back to your town or your village or your city, back to your family, back to your mom and dad, back to your grandma, back to anybody, and you spend time with them, you feel good. But it's very difficult to articulate that feeling in words. It's very difficult to articulate that feeling in verbal communication, because there are simply so many things happening that it's impossible to understand or articulate that feeling properly through words. If I tell somebody, like for example, if I tell someone, hey, I like you, I'm giving them some information about how I feel about them, which tells them I either want to be friends with them or I want to be in a romantic relationship with them. Anger is also a form of information sharing. For example, when you are angry, you are communicating to others that, hey, you are in a very sensitive and vulnerable spot. You are not in a rational headspace. Do not trigger me or do not provoke me. My adrenaline and my testosterone are very high right now, so I am ready to fight even though the fight will hurt me. I don't care. Same with other emotions like sadness. All of these emotions communicate something to other people. The third reason that we communicate is to influence or persuade or change somebody's mind or beliefs or change somebody's behavior. So this is probably the most important aspect of communication, and this is what we are going to learn in super communication. We can use this to change behavior of others, and in some cases also ourselves. This is the most valuable aspect of communication. Here are some examples. For example, dating. You talk and communicate to make someone like you or go out with you, or if you want somebody's number. And then you come in a relationship with you. This is the reason that you communicate to somebody. This is the reason when you go out in a bar or a club or a party and you're talking to a girl or a guy, this is what you want. You want to change their belief. You want them to believe that you are a cool, attractive, nice person. And you want them to change their behavior. You want them to call you. You want them to like you. You want them to go out with you. You want them to date you. All of this requires a behavior change and a belief change. Or if you go to a job interview, you communicate your value so that they hire you. So you want them to hire you. That is the behavior. You want them to say yes. You want them to agree to whatever you have to say, and you want them to like whatever you have to say. So you go to a job interview with the hopes of changing the behavior and changing the minds of the interviewer about yourself, right? Whatever belief that they had, because if they don't know you, initially they don't have any belief about you. But if you look good, if you're presentable, if you're smiling, if you are articulate, if you have gotten some good experience, if you are able to convince them, if you're confident, then their beliefs about you are going to change, and now they will like you, they will prefer you. Now they will kind of give you a job if you do all these things right. The same thing we do is when we are trying to run ads or build a brand image. When you're trying to run ads or build a brand image, we are trying to change the opinion or the belief about our company or about our brand, the belief of the public. We are trying to change the belief of the public about our company, about our product or service, or about our brand. Or we run ads to change somebody's behavior, right? Like for example, you want the target audience or your target market to download your PDF, or to buy from you, or to buy from you again, or to tell their friends and family to buy from you, like referrals and word of mouth. All of these are behavior changes. You want their behavior to change. You want other people to subscribe to your YouTube channel or follow your Instagram, right? Or you install your app or come to the shop often. All of these things are behavior changes. When you tell somebody to stop smoking, you are expecting a behavior change. You are expecting them to stop smoking and start living a healthier lifestyle. When you're negotiating with somebody, for example, if you're a salesperson, if you're trying to negotiate with a prospect, you want that prospect to change his or her beliefs about your product. If you are quoting a price of 1000 rupees and the other prospect is quoting a price of 600 rupees, you want to communicate in a way that makes them believe that, hey, you know what, the product is worth 1000 rupees and I see the value in it, and I will be willing to pay, if not 1000, then at least 950 rupees for this product. So you want the behavior to change and also the belief to change. When you're selling something to somebody, it's a very direct example of behavior change. When you're managing your employees to work harder or your team to be on time, just like my HR was doing, you're trying to change behavior and you're trying to change the belief systems. So try to think of all the examples where you communicate in your day-to-day life to change somebody's belief or to change somebody's behavior. This is the most important aspect of communication. And if you understand this, then this is going to give you superpower in influencing somebody, persuading somebody, communicating ideas and communicating actions to somebody. This is going to make you a super communicator. So these are the three major reasons why we communicate. Now there is one more part of the equation we need to understand, and I promise you this won't be very complicated. I hope that so far you have understood everything that we have talked about. Right? There are three kinds of communication. First is to share and receive information about the world so that we can conduct or we can regulate our actions and behavior. Second is to express feelings or express our emotions so that we can also conduct our behavior and our actions in front of other people. And third is directly to persuade, influence, change somebody's belief and behavior about something. So in all cases, ultimately we are trying to change somebody's belief and somebody's behavior, or maybe our belief and our behavior. So here is the next interesting part. I'm not saying this technically, but let's assume that there are two brains inside of us, new brain and old brain. The new brain, that can also be called as the logical brain or the analytical brain or the conscious brain, or as Daniel Kahneman calls it, System 2. There's a great book written by Daniel Kahneman. He's a Nobel Prize winning author, and I think he's an economist. He won Nobel Prize for his work in psychology. So you can say that he is a behavioral economist. The name of the book is Thinking Fast and Slow. That's an amazing book. If you can get your hands on it, if you can read it, it's a little bit complicated, but you are going to get a lot of value out of that book. So Daniel Kahneman calls it System 1 and System 2. But to reduce the technicality and to make it more understandable, to make it more palatable, I am going to call it the new brain and the old brain. Okay, so let's talk about new brain. It is responsible for calculating slow, deliberate thought and logical or rational thinking. For example, if I ask you that a product cost 2,500 rupees, but today there is a discount of 25%, so how much is the price after the discount today? This is not something that you can feel. This is not something that you can intuitively answer. You have to actually go in your mind and calculate. You have to actively, deliberately put some effort in calculating this. Okay, let's take another example. If I tell you, explain how photosynthesis work, or during an interview when you are asked about yourself, and when the interviewer asks you, why should we hire you? In all these cases, you are using the new brain or the System 2. You are using your logical, analytical brain to come up with reasons or to come up with justifications of why the interviewer or the company should hire you. Using new brain takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort and physical energy. It takes so much energy that during a high-level professional chess match, a chess master can spend thousands of calories in an 8-hour chess tournament. They are burning some same calories as somebody doing a high-intensity workout for straight 6 to 8 hours, even though they are simply sitting on a chair and staring at a board. This is how much energy our brain can use. Another example is during a race like Formula 1 races or MotoGP races, drivers can burn up to 1000 calories per hour during a race. Some drivers report that they actually lose 3 to 5 kilos of weight, water weight, by sweat or by energy leak in one race. On an average, drivers burn around 2000 to 3000 calories and sweat 2 to 3 kilos during a 2-hour race. Most of it is mentally burned energy due to extreme focus. A more relatable example would be, have you ever witnessed that you become sleepy after a tough and important exam? All of these examples are when high intensity mental activity can often burn more calories than physical activity. So the new brain is slow and more accurate in some cases, but it is also very, very expensive. It also takes a lot of effort. It also requires a lot of time, and it also is very difficult to engage. So most humans, for the most part of their life, ignore their logical brain. Even though we all have the capacity and the ability for rational thought and for logical understanding of things, we usually don't use it. We are usually just simply focused on our biases, our emotional reactions to things. And you know what? It's not bad. I don't want you to be thinking that if you're not rational, you are somehow dumb. I want you to understand that your old brain or the automatic brain, right? Or you can also call it your subconscious brain, is far more powerful and is way more efficient than the new brain. Now let's take a look at the new brain or system 1. This is the automatic, involuntary, meaning something that you cannot control, biological system within us that has been programmed by evolution and social dynamics over millions of years of human evolution. It is very, very strong. It can overpower the logical brain in times of emergency, which is a good thing. For example, if you're driving down on the road or the highway and all of a sudden a dog jumps on the highway. So before you realize it, your old brain sees it and you automatically push the brake. This is happening so fast that consciously you're not even aware of it. Or let's take another example. For example, if you're sitting or if you're walking down the road and somebody throws a ball at you or something like, comes flying towards you, like for an insect or for example, a bird, you automatically dodge. You might think that this is not very impressive, but please understand that the fastest human reaction time is 1/100th of a second. For a normal person, for a normal human being, we react at 1/100th of a second, right? So our old brain is so fast that it reacts to what is happening in the external environment even before your eyes have received those information and your brain has processed it and understood what's happening in the real world. It is so fast. So in reality, when somebody throws a ball at you or a bird is flying at you, or for example, if you're riding a bike and all of a sudden an insect comes flying in your helmet or towards your helmet, so you are reacting before your eyes can even see it. Like you don't even know, your body and your conscious mind does not even know that something is happening and your old brain has reacted. This is how fast your old brain is. So the old brain can process huge amounts of information in milliseconds, in 1/100th of a second, in 1/10th of a second. It's very, very, very fast. The old brain is responsible for releasing hormones like dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline, etc. Your old brain is also responsible for feelings, mood swings, and 95% of our thoughts and actions and behaviors and habits. Also, another problem is that we don't really understand the workings of the old brain because most of it is unconscious. This is why there is a lot of mysticism, there is a lot of kind of debate around the unconscious mind or the subconscious mind. But the only problem is that since we do not very accurately understand the old brain, we just add some mysticism to it. We try to make it more spiritual, but in reality there is no magic happening there. It's just that since the old brain has a lot of responsibility, the responsibility of keeping you alive. For example, If you're in a jungle and if you hear a sound, or if you feel somebody, some animal running towards you, if you are logically trying to process it, think about what is the next right step to do, you're going to be dead in that time. So the reaction needs to be, the your body needs to be faster than your eyes can actually see what's happening around you. So this is why the old brain that is less understood is way more powerful than the new brain. Also, a lot of mental health problems, right? For example, depression, anxiety, all of these things are actually related to the old brain. Our old brain is spread throughout our entire body. It's not just localized in in our head. Like usually when people think about brain, we think that our brain is just a part of us that is inside our head. But usually the nerves flow through the entire spinal cord, and the neurons go to the entire body. So if you actually go to Google and search for a picture or an image of the entire human nervous system, you will see that it's completely spread throughout the body. Okay, so we were talking that we don't have much control or awareness of the old brain. It is opaque to the new brain or the logical brain. It's almost like looking inside a black box. For example, when you have a big fight with your partner and you break up, all of a sudden you start seeing all the bad qualities that your partner had, that your ex had. And you start to think to yourself, oh my God, how did I not see this before? This is so obvious. How can I miss it? How can I miss all the red flags? But when you are in love, your old brain plays a trick on you. Your old brain makes you totally blind to the person's bad qualities and focuses on the good qualities only, so that you can reproduce and have sex with that person as much as possible, and you can pair bond. There is nothing you can do about it. This is why when couples, after getting into a relationship or after getting married, go through a honeymoon phase, it is because your old brain totally shuts off any recognition of bad qualities or unattractive behavior of your partner. Same with women when they fall in love with someone or are attracted to a man. Oftentimes women say this like, oh my God, I don't even know why am I getting into the same kind of relationships. Why am I getting into one bad relationship after another bad relationship? Like if it was so easy, if somebody can come up and try to be over smart and give a solution that, hey, you know what, if you realize that these are bad qualities, why don't you just see that in the person before dating them and decide not to date them? But that's not how our emotions work. That's not how you work. That's not how human beings work. Maybe a computer works like that. Like a computer is going to, if you insert a different kind of port, or if you insert a different kind of gadget in the USB device of your computer is not going to recognize it. Your computer is not going to have any thoughts or feelings or beliefs about it. But that's not how we work. So often you will see that very amazing, beautiful women will date questionable guys. You will think, how the hell this woman is with this guy? I am here, I have a great job, I look good, I come from a good background, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I sleep on time. But why the hell is she not dating me? Why the hell she just friend zones me? Because that, when it comes to attraction, when it comes to sex and dating and relationships and love, things are not logical. Things are psychological. Things are happening in, these things are controlled by the old brain. These things are controlled by the subconscious brain. So it's not her fault. It's her old brain which is making her do so. The old brain has its own goals. There is nothing you can do about it, and it controls the show and almost your entire life. All your fears, preferences, beliefs, biases, the cultural things that you have learned by living in, like for example, if you are a Bihari, you will learn certain things and you will form unconscious preferences towards certain things. Then if you're a Marathi, or if you're a Gujarati, or if you're a Kannadiga, if you're a Muslim, or if you're a Christian, or if you're a Hindu, if you're a Buddhist, you are going to have different kind of perceptions about the world. You're going to have different kind of biases, different kind of beliefs without you knowing, because these biases start forming when you are 2, 3, 4 years old, when you don't even know how to speak, when you don't even know what's happening, when you have no idea about the entire world. Okay. So your biology, like your DNA, your psychology, your personality, right, are a result of who your parents were. So usually what happens is, if one of your parents is prone to depression or ADHD or anxiety, the chances are very high that you are also going to be prone, or you're also going to be predisposed to having those problems. Right? This is just some extra knowledge about mental health that I wanted to share, because there seems to be a lot of confusion about these things. And the more we talk about mental health issues, the more we talk about, like health, mind, consciousness, all of these things, the better we are going to understand each other. So your old brain has goals of its own, and its primary goals are evolutionary. That means it only cares about your survival, reproduction, and social status. That's it. It only cares about your survival, reproduction, and social status. It cares about the fact that whether you have had enough sex in your life or not, whether you have enough resources, or if you have enough, things to eat, to sleep, to wear, etc., and whether you have high social status or not, whether you have good friends, whether you have close family members, whether you have good relationships with other people or not. This is what it cares about. The old brain doesn't care about objective or scientific information. Like, it doesn't matter if you say that the earth is flat or the earth is round. It doesn't matter. For a human being, for his day to day purposes, his day to day life, it doesn't really matter to him that the earth is flat or the earth is round. So it doesn't care about objective scientific information. And there are a lot of complicated reasons for it, but I won't go into it right now. Our new brain, or the logical brain, is almost like a substitute player in the game of life. Its main job is to be sitting on the bench and be ready to get up and do the work whenever it is called. It is not the star of the show. It is not supposed to be controlling the entire thing. Like, imagine if you had to consciously regulate your heartbeat, your digestion, your hormones, your mental and physical recovery, your blood flow, your blood pressure, how much, like how much insulin to add into your bloodstream, like when to fall asleep. You will not even, like, how to take in from oxygen in from your lungs and spread it through your entire body, like how often to piss, how often to go take a dump, right? If you have to logically control all these things, you would die in a day. So it's a good thing that, our new brain, or the logical brain, is not involved in these things. And our new brain, or the logical brain, is almost like a substitute player in a football team. When somebody important is hurt, or when there is a real requirement, then only it is called out, because it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort to getting the new brain to work. But the old brain is fast, automatic. It happens, without even your realization. Like, it takes no effort for the old brain to work. For example, when you read something, like for example, right now you are looking at a screen. So whatever words are appearing on the screen, you're not choosing to read them. Your brain automatically reads them and processes them without spending any more energy. So it's automatic, which is a good thing. The job of the new brain is basically of rationalization or justification, right? And to play some social politics. This is the job of the new brain. Our intelligence is not built for accurate objective assessment of the world. Our intelligence is built for politics, to play the game of social dynamics, and to justify our actions. So you can say that, we do make things, make decisions, and act almost always because of our old brain. 95% or more of our behaviors, thoughts, feelings, actions are directly controlled by the old brain. But we rationalize it and justify it using the new brain. The new brain plays the role of a lawyer and a politician mostly, right? So each and every one of us are naturally good lawyers and politicians. This is why sometimes you'll be doing something and for absolutely no reason, your brain will start defending and your brain will start playing the lawyer as if you are in a court and somebody has put some allegations on you and you have to defend yourself. For example, if you're hosting a birthday party, your brain will automatically, for no reason, start playing lawyer and justifying some things that aren't even there, justifying problems that aren't even there. Your new brain will start, kind of coming up with new problems that other people might find. So this is the problem. This is again why overthinking is bad for you. The best and easiest way to understand the new brain and the old brain is by imagining the old brain like a huge 5,000 kilo elephant and the new brain as the 60 kilogram rider sitting on the elephant. Okay, so the old brain is the big, powerful, 5-ton elephant, and the new brain is like the 60 kilo rider sitting on the elephant. The rider is helpless and powerless in front of the elephant. If the elephant wants to do something or go in a certain direction, then the rider doesn't get to choose, right? If the rider that is riding the elephant is very well trained, he can actually control the elephant to some degree. He can actually control its movement, its direction to some degree, but never 100%. Still, the elephant is always in charge. The best thing you can do is to train that rider and to train the elephant. Usually what happens is the training starts from a very early age. So this is something that, like think, how to understand ourselves. This should start at a very early age so that we have a lot of time to develop this relationship between the old brain and the new brain, right? It's almost like a friendship. If you don't understand your old brain very well, or if you don't understand your subconscious very well, your subconscious is always going to do things that are going to annoy you. Your subconscious is always going to take you into directions that are going to kind of piss you off, that are going to ruin your life, right? But if you build a good relationship, if you become friends by understanding what does your subconscious want, what does the old brain want, and understanding its needs and desires that can be understood. These things are a little bit difficult to do. They require a lot of introspection, they require a lot of meditation, journaling, talking about these things, but you can actually do this. It's not a very hard thing to do. If you can learn basics of, like, for example, coding, or how to sell something, or how to market something, if you understand how to do a job, you can easily learn this. Okay, so the new brain can train the old brain by developing a good relationship and by understanding how the old brain works. But that is a topic for another video. So now you must be thinking, Rahul, what are you talking about? You're talking about 3 different kinds of communication, which is to share information about the world or about ourselves, to express feelings and emotions, and to change belief and behavior. And now you're talking about the old brain and the new brain, and how old brain is the elephant and new brain is the rider. If the new brain is not well trained, then it won't be able to control the old brain. Right now, what is happening is the entire attention is on you. But for a second, take the attention off from yourself and put the attention on a consumer. The consumer also have all the same things as you, right? Consumers buy stuff. Most of the purchase decisions, most of the buying decisions that the consumers make are not controlled by their logical mind. They're controlled by their old brain. They're controlled by their subconscious mind, right? And if you understand how to communicate directly to that, if you understand how to communicate to the old brain, then your communication, whatever you're trying to do, your relationships, your dating, your social life, your ads, your marketing strategy, your social media, your landing pages, your website, your shops, your speech, your presentation, your negotiation skills, your sales skills, your pitch, everything is going to be 10x more powerful, because now you're not communicating to somebody's logical brain, somebody's new brain. New brain is not powerful enough. It's useless to try to communicate to the new brain. But trying to communicate to the old brain and learning how to communicate to the old brain directly is what super communication is all about. Learning how to communicate directly to the old brain and also kind of the new brain too. is what super communication is about. And this is what the entire psycho marketing course is based on. So, we have already learned that we communicate for three main reasons: to share information, to express emotions, and to change or influence behavior or belief. Now, when we think about communication, as we have talked earlier, most people by default think that, you know, we need to communicate from our logical brain to somebody else's logical brain by verbal communication or by textual communication. Nobody thinks about the non-verbal or the sub-communication. But if you look at the studies, you will find that, almost our entire communication, like 95% of our communication, is non-verbal in nature. Like when you're talking to somebody, the words that you're speaking are not that as important. Like you can go up to somebody, right? You can go up to somebody and be like, hey, excuse me, I think you look very cute. My name is Rahul. I would like to have your number. It might not work for you, but for somebody else who is a little bit more confident, who is a little bit more, expressive, he says the exact same thing to a girl, to the same girl that rejected you for saying the same line. And for that person, it might work. Because a lot of the things that are happening in a communication, in a verbal or any kind of communication, any kind of conversation, are non-verbal in nature, right? Most communication happens non-verbally. Most of the important communication happens, to the old brain, to the subconscious mind, not to the logical brain. Okay? So this is why understanding the old brain and understanding super communication, which is communicating directly to the old brain. Some people call it sub-communication, some people call it signaling, some people call it non-verbal communication, but super communication, I think, is a better way to describe it. It's communication, but it's more powerful than communication because we are trying to communicate directly to the older parts of the brain, directly to the old brain, directly to the elephant. We are trying to speak directly to the, million years old mammalian brain. Okay? Verbal communication goes to the new brain. If the new brain is untrained, then it won't be able to communicate or affect the old brain. Just like an untrained rider won't be able to control or navigate the elephant effectively. For example, we verbally teach people during driving lessons not to overtake or switch lanes on a busy road. But 100% of the people listen to it, logically understand it, like their logical or the new brain understand this information, but all of them fail to do it. We all overtake and we all switch lanes unnecessarily on the road. When somebody else does it, we get very pissed off. Like, how the fuck can you drive like this? Don't you understand how to drive on a road? And then you start blaming the society. You know what? Like Indian society is like this. Like Indian people have no road sense. But think about yourself. How many hundreds of times have you done it? I bet you do it on a daily basis. But you will never criticize yourself because, again, we all have a bias towards ourselves, right? Which is called confirmation bias. We all want to think that we are right and the world is wrong. Now, this is again related to the old brain. Let's look at some other examples. In these cases, we totally ignore what was taught to us. Same with smoking and drinking. We all taught not to smoke or drink, or when we are drinking, drink responsibly, because too much drinking can cause you to lose impulse control and you can get into fights or you can get into accidents much more easily. It will affect your motor system, your motor activities, your motor nervous system, and you will not be able to move properly, walk properly, or control your impulses. And we all understand it. We all understand logically. We all understand it verbally. And we still drink and smoke and sometimes drink and drive. We know that the highest cause of road accidents happen because of drunk driving. So we all know verbally and logically that reading, meditating, and eating healthy and going to the gym will keep us fit, healthy, disease-proof, and increase our life expectancy and also increase the life enjoyment. But we all listen to it and we understand it, but we never follow it. You see, this is how weak the new brain is. It has no control over your life. If I tell you to approach a random cute woman, like in a bar or maybe in a shopping mall or maybe on the street that you see, and talk to her, try to ask her number, try to give her a compliment, even though logically there is no danger in doing so, you won't be able to do it. Like, What's so scary about talking to women? Like, on an average, a woman, a girl, is going to be shorter than you, weaker than you, less aggressive than you. She is not going to attack you, and if she does attack you, you are going to win easily. So there is no danger. It's not that you are, trying to talk to a tiger. I understand, like, being scared of a tiger is because tiger is 300 kilos of pure muscle and wilderness. But why are men scared to talk to women? There is, that there is no logical reason. Nobody is going to judge you, because you see, if you go to a party or a bar, you will see very often that people will go to other people to strike conversation. So this happens very often. What is the reason to be scared of it? There is no reason to be scared of it. You think that other people are going to come and start beating you? Nobody gives a fuck about what you're trying to do. If you're trying to speak to a girl or talk to a girl, unless and until you are trying to disrespect somebody, or you know unlawfully touch somebody or harass somebody verbally or physically, then yes, you can get in trouble. But going up to somebody and speaking, like, hey, what's up, my name is Rahul, I wanted to introduce myself to you, you look very cute, I wanted to talk to you for a while, there is no danger to it. It's a very, very low risk activity, but all men are scared of it. Like, in fact, people are so scared that if you, in a survey, if there was asked, people chose that I would rather be hit by a car than to approach a random strange girl and get rejected by her in public. So see, logically there is no danger in it, but again, a lot of people won't be able to do it. The same thing happens when you're called upon stage for a presentation and you have to do some kind of public speaking. You feel a strong resistance, even though you know 100% certain with 100% certainty that nothing bad is going to happen to you. Like, if your boss has called you for a presentation, all people sitting there understand that people get anxious, people get nervous when they go on stage. So nobody's going to judge you, nobody's going to laugh at you. If you say one wrong word, if you make one wrong mistake, your boss is not going to jump on your body and start stabbing you like 50 times. It's not going to happen. But we are irrationally scared of these things. Non-verbal or subcommunication is a communication where we bypass the new brain or logical brain and directly communicate with the old brain. If we can convince the old brain, the logical brain will automatically make justifications and rationalizations for its actions. So we don't really need to control the new brain. We don't really need to take the new brain that seriously. Although we need to respect it, but we don't need to take it that seriously. We need to care about the old brain. And super communication is about communicating to the old brain. For example, social proof. If you go to a club and before talking to that really cute girl you wanna go out with, talk to the bartender, say hi to the DJ, and have some cool friends. This will build your social proof. And social proof will communicate to the girl that you are a socially acceptable guy. And if others have accepted you and they like you, there must be some good qualities within you. It must mean that you will be worth dating, or at least you will be worth talking to. So let's talk to let's talk to him, let's talk to the guy and see where it goes. So when you are using social proof, you are communicating all of this to a girl. But if you went to somebody and if you directly said that, hey, I'm a likable guy, everybody in this club is my friend, and I think you should date me, that is never going to work. Another example, like, a lot of club owners will purposefully create a line outside the clubs, even though the club inside is kind of empty and there is a lot of space, so that they can create the feeling of, again, social proof or pre-selection, that, oh my god, all of these guys are trying to get inside the club, this seems to be like the most popular club in the area, let's go there. So a line outside the club communicates to the crowd that everyone likes this club, so it must be very nice, therefore I also want to go in there. This is also an example of social proof or a kind of super communication. Another example of non-verbal communication is social context. Expression. If you smile and maintain eye contact, it communicates that you are a friendly and trustworthy person, and people like you. If you directly go up to somebody and say that, hey, I'm a friendly and trustworthy person, people are not going to believe in you, and it won't have any effect on them. But maintaining eye contact and maintaining a smile and maintaining a warm friendly facial expression is going to have that effect on them. A sales example of super communication would be making a person laugh or feel good before a sales presentation. It will spike dopamine. So, the best thing you can do to increase your sales is simply offer them some good coffee and some good food before starting the meeting. It should smell good, it should look good, and it should taste good. If you're simply providing some biscuits and some tea, then don't worry, it's not going to work. But if you're actually putting some effort and if providing some good coffee and something tasty to eat, the chances of your sales presentation going successful are very high. It's going to spike the dopamine and increase the chances of making a positive decision. Another example is a marketing or business example. It would be like to offer free values, like a lot of websites offer free PDFs or free opt-ins to build trust and value initially. So there are a lot of examples that I can give you about super communication that are applicable, that are practical, and a lot of smart businesses, marketers, and salespeople use it. Like for example, there was a smart lunchroom programs. So what happened is this is a social science research, and parents, this happened in schools because kids were eating unhealthy food, and parents wanted their kids to eat healthy and not junk. They kept on telling them verbally to kids that, hey, son, listen, you should eat healthy, you should eat more fruits. Hey, daughter, listen, you should drink more liquids. You should, keep yourself hydrated, and you should eat healthy food. The kids will nod, yes, dad, yes, mom, and then go to school and eat a burger and fries and coke because everybody else is doing the same. It happens because parents don't understand super communication. They are communicating to the new brain or the logical brain, which does not change either belief or behavior. We need to bypass it. And super communication does this to the brain. We need to super communicate to the old brain. So here is how the researchers did it. First, by offering healthy food in bright, colorful plates and packaging, the way something looks can affect its taste to us. So providing junk food in plain, basic, small plates discourages its consumption. And providing healthy foods such as fruits in a bigger, beautiful plates with nicely looking, freshly cut fruits can increase its consumption. You may think that, no, Rahul, this has to be a joke. Like something this simple cannot change behavior. But I'm telling you, it does. It's proven again and again, almost every study that we have ever done. This is true. So, simply by providing healthy food in a more colorful, more attractive plates, and providing junk food in like basic gray or white kind of plates, does the job. Encourages kids to eat healthy. Second example, the second trick that they used is by making junk food plates smaller to give impression that there is too much food on the plate, and by making by giving larger plates for healthy food to give the impression that this isn't a lot of food. So in this way, people eat less junk food and more healthy food. Third trick is by placing photos of good looking, happy, and healthy kids on the walls, eating fruits and running and exercising. This communicates in this context that we do things differently here. We eat healthy. And a lot of people started eating healthy because that became cool. Making the fruit counter first, like for example, when the kids enter the mess, usually what happens is the first thing is burger, fries, sandwiches, and Coca-Cola, and all these sweet drinks, all this junk food, and then at the last there is a small counter for fruit. So the way the choice architecture is set up in that area, in that room, is that it signals to it super communicates to our old brain that we need to eat junk food. This is a setting that we first take junk food and we take a little bit of healthy food. But by changing that, by reversing that, by adding the healthy food cart first. So when kids enter a mess, they see a long kind of counter for healthy foods, and they see a small counter for junk food. What happens is that it changes the impression without anybody realizes it. People automatically go inside, and people automatically want to be cool, want to fit in, and obviously what counter will you go? The bigger counter, the more beautiful counter where there are a lot of people, or the smaller counter, the black and white counter that doesn't look very good? So these simple strategies helped them change the behavior, helped them change the beliefs, and then kids started eating healthy. All of these things are free, by the way. Right? People spend tens of millions of dollars in anti-smoking campaign and keep India clean campaign, treat women right campaign, all the drive responsibly and safely, don't drink and drive, stop smoking, all of these campaigns, but they never work. Like, in fact, all the stop smoking campaigns kind of increase the problem. Like, when you show disgusting, dirty, diseased, people or smokers' face or mouth on the smoke cover, people simply turn it around. People simply are like, I'm simply not going to register. People simply ignore the drawings. So that is not a good way to change behavior. These are only some strategies of super communication. You can use super communication in all areas. For example, parenting, business, corporate, networking, sales, marketing, advertising, social media, dating, parties, and more. The entire course, Psychomarketing, is based on super communication and also a little bit of super thinking, but this is not going to be the video in which we are going to talk about super thinking. The entire course is based on super communication. The future courses will also be based on a mixture of super communication and super thinking. So I hope you got a lot out of this video. I hope you learned a lot of new things out of this video, and I hope that you found some of these ideas very interesting. If you did find these ideas interesting, please take a moment to subscribe, like the video. I want to build a platform in India for smart and intellectual individuals and high functioning professionals. I want to create a content platform that is directed towards the high functioning individuals and professionals of India, and I want to make them smart. I want to help them make better decisions. I want to improve their thinking. I want to enhance their cognition, their mind, and their social and communication skills. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, thank you so much for watching the entire video. Subscribe for more, follow my Instagram, and comment below if you want me to make another video on super thinking. And if you want to get some of the courses, then there will be a link in the description. You can follow that link. Thank you.